All right. What's up, guys? We're back here with episode 2 of the WolfPack Podcast. It's been a little while since we've been back, but I know we've definitely been up to a lot of stuff. So I'm here today with my boy Chillz. Say what's up to him, Chillz.
What's up, guys?
So as you guys, some of Chillz runs a lot of the Fortnite side of Wolfpack, and me and him have just been kind of like friends on social media and gaming for a while. So, we wanted to hop on this podcast and kind of describe the whole time of how we met up in Cali, went to Dreamhack, and how that all kind of unraveled and what that had to do with the team. So I'll tell you guys real briefly. Basically, so I was planning to go run the marathon with FaZe Temper, FaZe Blaziken, my other boy Ronnie, and Kel, Brother Nature. He ran it, and then our other friend that's like a music producer. So we all were planning to do that on March 8th, and Chillz was gonna be in Anaheim for Dreamhack about what was it, like 2 or 3 weeks before that. And
February 20th, around
yeah,
that
so
time.
he had been kind of pestering me for weeks at a time, and then I remember it was a Friday night because at the gym we do like a Friday night workout, and I remember it was a Friday night. I was all hyped up on pre-workout. Chillz hit me up, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna send it. And I just bought a one-way ticket to Anaheim, well, to LA, and then after that, I reached out to one of my connections. Happens to be Hayden over at Adidas Gaming, and I had linked up him and Hunter, and we'd been doing some tests using the Whoop technology, which basically like tracks your heart rate, sleeping patterns, and all that. And we're kind of just, we're seeing how sleep and stress and all that can affect your performance, even in a sport like gaming. And once we kind of told them that concept, Hayden actually told us he was gonna fly out. So now all of a sudden, me, Hayden from Adidas, Chillz, we're all going out to DreamHack to meet up, and then after that, obviously I had to go run a marathon. So that was a crazy trip for me that Chillz pulled me into. So I got to thank him because I did have a crazy trip for sure. But I wanted to kind of bring him in and give us his take on what it was like coming out to Cali with me. Going out to DreamHack. His other friends he met up with and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna kind of turn it over to him a little bit, and kind of he can explain his background in Fortnite and how he got there, and then how this whole thing developed.
Okay. So, I basically started playing Fortnite 2 years ago, and then I started getting into the competitive scene about maybe a year and a half ago when I was with Wolfpack, and then I started meeting around, going around, meeting new people, and meeting all sorts of new people, and just kind of engaging in the community. And then November came around, and DreamHack Anaheim 2020 was pushed out. Basically, they're like, "Hey, like we've got DreamHack coming up. There's going to be over 1,200 participants." And me and some buddies just messaged each other, and we were like, "Yeah, like let's hop on this. Let's go there." So we did that in November, and then February 19th came around. I left at 5 a.m. in the morning. I could barely even sleep that night, and I got up and I was just like, okay, like this is happening. This is happening. We're going. We're going. We're going. I'm like, this is my first DreamHack event ever, so I was pretty excited about that. It wasn't my first
So
LAN. I've
just
been
real
to
quick,
them.
so that was that your first ever like trip that you took because of gaming, pretty much. So like
No,
in your
no,
life, yeah.
I've took others before actually for other LANs.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah, I've competed at tons of other LANs as well. So I
And how did DreamHack compare? Like just the whole experience. Like
the
would you say it was?
atmosphere there was amazing. Meeting the amount of people I did while I was there was amazing. And I, the only downside about DreamHack was the fact that you could bring your own PC, and that was kind of a setback. There's lots of problems that came up, especially prior to the tournament, like about an hour before. I, for example, was having internet issues, and there was no way they could have tested this because it was dependent on us bringing our PCs and setting up rather
Yeah.
than if they set their own PCs up. I mean, it's a $250,000 tournament. I really, in my mind, believe that they should have provided their PCs because I've went to LANs that are 10K and they've provided PCs. So why couldn't DreamHack? I mean, that was the only downside to it was
Yeah.
there was some internet problems. My buddy didn't even get to play the first day because of the internet problems. He only got to play the second day. So it was kind of a buzzkill as for that. But like, I think the atmosphere was great. Meeting the amount of people there was great, and just getting to see everyone compete in like the age variety. Like, there was a 12-year-old sitting right beside my buddy. Didn't like he was good. I watched him, but there was no way he was going to make finals, but he went there just like happy as could be. And like, it's really nice to see that kind of stuff, because you like to see the next generation come up and be interested in this kind of stuff, because it kind of, gaming really started with the 90s generation, like the 90s babies and that, rather than the 2000s. Like, there's the early 2000s, but other than that, like, it's all 90s kids. Like, there's Call of Duty, where it started with Nade Shot and Fwiz and Temper and all of those guys. But then now Fortnite, like, you're starting to get more into the newer generation, like just a little bit, but not a ton. Like, you still got like the old guys like me, like NRG Zate, like Liquid Scented,
Yeah. It's
Vivid,
actually
like,
funny to me. It's funny to me to see like the younger generation. I just see like, as much as it's like, they're playing different games than I played, and they're playing like, it's a whole different world, and like it's a way bigger world. Like, it's kind of hilarious just because like I do see a lot of like that same similarities as like me and my friends when we were still kind of just coming up in the beginning days too. It's kind of funny.
yeah, when you first started. Yeah. And like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, Anaheim was a great experience. The amount of people, like, I've met a decent amount of friends through gaming, but the people that I met on this trip was probably the best people I could have met through gaming. Like, everyone to me that I met on this trip was like family. Like, when I heard Ryan was coming, I was literally like, just like, hell yeah, this is gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a
I
great
literally
time.
bought that ticket. I think it was like 8 days before DreamHack. I bought a ticket, and then I just messaged you, and I'm like, "Yo, I bought it all. I'm coming."
Yeah,
I had nothing, bro. I literally booked everything. Like, I literally booked my place to stay, like on the fucking on at LAX when I landed.
yeah. Like, it was just awesome. Like, the guys I got to hang with, there was a lot of people that I've known for a while. Like, my boy Mixter, I've known since the start of World Cup last year. And then we played one World Cup qualifier together. And like, we just became really good friends. And he's from Kansas, and like, I was just so excited to meet him. He was one of the other guys. And then when Ryan pulled up, it's the Thursday night. It's the day right before the competition. All the guys they're like, man, you got to be at the house by like 12 or 2 or whatever. Like, we have to get up early in the morning. We have to get ready. And like, me and Ryan were just walking around Anaheim at
Yeah, because I
like
remember
3 a.m.
I left Boston, like I literally left Boston at like my house at like 9 a.m. and I didn't end up getting like to California because there was like some delays, and I stopped in like I had a layover in Vegas or whatever. Bro, by the time I got to the hotel, it was literally like 1 a.m. I'd been traveling for like literally the whole day, and I was like, I had to call Chillz because the place closed at 12, and I'm like, yo, you guys could, yo, give this dude my key. Like, it was a ridiculous story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
it was hilarious, man. And but no, and then like I said, the other crazy part about that was that Hayden pulled up, and it
yeah.
was actually sick to meet him. Have him come out from Adidas, kind of meet with us and meet like and also with him. He was talking to a lot of the other big players, so we got to meet a lot of the top Fortnite players in the world, honestly,
Yeah.
through that. So and then obviously the Whoop technology too. I just kind of wanted to get some of your feedback since you've kind of been like my main test guy on the Adidas like Whoop side.
Yeah.
What your feedback is on that whole thing, that because I know you're kind of the lead on that.
Honestly, like, I'm gonna be 110% honest, and I'm not saying this because it's Adidas. Like, Whoop is really good. Me and Hayden have been having usually a call every 2 weeks or so. He's doing checking ups. He's asking me how I'm doing, like how my HRV is and all that. And like, I can't go too much into this because a lot of this stuff is confidential, but being able to see stuff like my recovery score, how much sleep I'm actually getting, and that is super helpful. One thing Hayden pointed out to me, actually, and we laughed about this. I believe it was actually yesterday, because me and him were playing Valorant together. It was Sunday. We're playing Valorant together. So I send Hayden a picture. I'm pretty sure I sent you this picture too, Ryan, of
Yeah, you
that
did.
two.
I saw that.
I got 2.5 hours of sleep. And like,
Come
I
on,
was
man.
just like,
Come on, man. You're making me look bad. I'm trying to. Come on,
like,
man. Nah, I'm just
okay,
kidding.
this is whack. I'm like, okay, so I got 2.5 hours of sleep. And Hayden says to me, he's like, your recovery score is at 57%. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know it's bad. So then he sends me a screenshot of his. He got 8.5 hours of sleep and had a recovery score of 23%. So his body must be used to getting more sleep. And my body at this point is just like, hey man, like if you get 2.5 hours of sleep, let's take it. And like,
Yeah, I remember just me personally from using Whoop, because I've been using it too since we've both been using it, and I've actually increased my nightly sleep by like an hour. My average over like 30 days is increased by about an hour. So I know myself, like, I tend to like get kind of stuck like either gaming or on my phone or watching a video or something, and I always just end up just like eating away from my sleep time.
yeah,
So I mean, I think it definitely helps me bring awareness to my sleeping patterns and just my overall how my body's feeling.
yeah.
So I can see, I think me personally too, I actually do like it, and obviously, I like obviously I like working with Hayden too because he's mad cool. Like, we went out to eat after, and we were vibing with him for a few days. So
Yeah, went out for pizza and then yeah, it was good. Like the thing is so basically now back to like the whole Woot thing. The reason why we're doing it is because we're trying to find like ways how to prevent some stuff. I can't say what it is because it is confidential, but it's basically Whoop is being used to help gamers and analyze our data. So when I'm playing in a tournament of any sort, what I do is I start an activity. And then once that game is done, I stop that activity. And then it'll give me my activity strain, my max heart rate, my average heart rate, all that kind of information just to see. So like if I'm in a scrim and it's 50 moving zone and that my heart rate might be 154. So
hmm
you can see those moments when your heart gets up and like if there's a way to like counter that so that your heart isn't beating a lot because then you get stressed. So
yeah, basically trying to keep like your essentially your cortisol levels down.
yeah, and
And
speaking of cortisol, like when we were in Anaheim after every single game, it was the Saturday. Hayden, our Adidas guy, he had these little cortisol readings, and he did it with me, he did it with Vivid, and another player. So
I think
basically,
it was someone in Ghost, right? Yeah,
yeah,
at
no,
the
he
time.
wasn't a ghost. He wasn't in
No.
Ghost. He just had a ghost chair. But
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
yeah, so the cortisol reading, what it does is it basically is you stick it in your mouth, put it under your tongue, and you just let your saliva soak into it. And in your saliva, we have what's called cortisol, so that they can take that and test to see like what your stress levels are. So Hayden would take my cortisol levels after every game to see like I was stressed, and he would be sitting there watching. He's like, okay, like this guy, like he might be a little stressed in this game, and then he takes my cortisol levels and it's showing off the charts. And I'm just like, yeah, like I was stressed. Like I I just wasn't having the best performance at
Yeah.
Anaheim. And the thing is the reason why I didn't have the best performances is Friday, back to what we were saying is, so Thursday Ryan got in. Me and Ryan went to go grab food and catch up. Like it was the first time we ever got to connect. So we went to this pancake place and got pancakes. We left at about 3 o'clock, and then I got back to the house at like 3:15 and fell asleep by 4, and we were up at like 10 the next morning. So like
Oh
I
yeah, I
didn't
mean,
get a lot of sleep.
I was at the gym at 6 the next morning, and you didn't answer my text. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna put that on the record.
yeah, like
I'm just messing with you. But no, I like same thing now. Obviously, some of you guys know, like I work at the gym, the compound, and we're actually also now working with Whoop on kind of like the esports and just overall like human optimization, and we're also working with them. So like I said, I've been doing a lot of usage of this on like the fitness and wellness side as well, and then having Hunter, and he's been doing a lot on the gaming side. So I'm starting to really understand how to help control some of these like body reactions that you can slow it down by your breathing, your mindset, just how prepared you go in and all this kind of stuff. So we're definitely looking into some next level type stuff here, and really hoping to actually like bring some value just to the gaming community in general, and
yeah,
just kind of bringing in some more science to it, and getting people more like more support just around the athletes.
yeah. And like the thing, like I was saying with it, so my Friday performance wasn't as good. Like Friday, I was really stressed out. Like I didn't get a lot of sleep that day. It was like 6 hours. and my HRV was extremely low. So
Yeah, your HRV, my HRV is like between like 160 and 200.
yeah, like mine on a good day is like 80 or 90. And normally you want the higher the HRV rating you have, the more stress you can take on. So you can
Yeah,
get a high HRV rating by getting good recovery, getting good sleep, doing lots of activities, and basically just working your body out and then letting it rebuild overnight, and you can get a
yeah,
better HRV rating.
which
So
explains why someone like me would have a higher like a high average HRV because like my whole life is working out and I just ran a marathon, so I'm sure that all that training increased my HRV like all my because of like, how much stress I put on my body.
yeah, and like it's good in a sense, and like that's the cool thing about Whoop is like when I performed crappy on the Friday, I looked at my HRV and I was like, okay, like it's bad. And Hayden's like, man, like you need to get some sleep. So Friday, we were supposed to go have a team supper, me and the boys and some friends, and like all of us were gonna go out, but then we canceled on that. Like everyone was just tired. It was a long day. So we went back to the house and slept. And then I got a really good night's sleep that night. And then Saturday, like the start of it, I didn't play as well as I wanted to, but then like in the second back half of it, I started like popping off and was like, okay, like I'm getting back into my solo groove, like let's keep this up. And like I looked at my HRV and like if you looked at my points from Friday to Saturday, I don't remember what they were. It's been 3 months almost, but
Three
there was
months
a
of lockdown.
significant difference, yeah, of lockdown, but there was a significant difference, and I was just like, man, like that's when I saw him like before tournaments, you need to get an amplified amount of sleep. Like those who stay up and grind till 5 a.m. and then have a tournament at 11, I get that you want to grind, but don't. That's
Yeah,
not the
that's
answer.
where
You need sleep.
that's where like the one thing I will say too, like that the Whoop has helped me learn about is that like I said, sometimes like grinding as they say it, like sometimes that's actually a bad thing to do
Yeah.
when you should be recovering. Like I said, I learned that I learned that more on the fitness side where some days when I get to the gym, like I work out every day because I'm just a sicko. So like let's just get that out there. So I don't expect anyone else to be like a sicko like that, but I work out every single day. And obviously, some days I go hard, some days I take it easier. And I just noticed that even like, my body kind of knows, like just from working out all the time and like this is like my life, I kind of know, like, oh, I don't feel too great today. And on those days, I usually realize that my Whoop gives me low recovery scores. So I saw the correlation of how I actually was feeling. And then the Whoop kind of, like I said, it put numbers to that data that I had the intuition to have already, and that actually helped me a lot because I'm one of those people too that's like I'll just grind too hard, and sometimes it's like even the people around me, I'm sure that you get the same thing, like my advisors and my close friends and everyone, they're always like, yo, you gotta sleep more, like you gotta make sure you take care of yourself
Yeah.
because otherwise you're gonna burn out and you won't last, like oh, you might have like one good year and then but you can't sustain it and you're gonna burn out, whereas if you kind of pace it, you're gonna be able to sustain your career for much longer.
Yeah. And like the one thing I can't stress enough, especially with the last like I'd say 2 weeks that have unraveled. I don't want to go too much into it, but Um, I've been having very killer headaches lately,
Mm.
and it really came into light what it was, and this also affects your sleep patterns. For anyone who doesn't know about blue light is something that's given off by your monitor and many like screening devices and that. So if you don't have like a anti-blue light monitor or something that'll protect your eyes from the blue light, you can get what's called macular degeneration. You can once you get older, it can degenerate your eyes, your vision, and cause you to go blind eventually. But
Yeah, and that's why I always told people for like the longest time, like I said, I'm someone that has like if you look at my phone screen time, I'm averaging like 14 to 16 hours a day.
yeah.
So on top of gaming and obviously like how it is, I'm answering messages all day long on my
Oh
phone.
yeah.
Pretty much same thing with you. And then, I just noticed that's why I started. People made fun of me for the longest time, but I would always wear sunglasses all the time.
Yep.
And people are like, yo, why are you wearing sunglasses? We're inside. And I'm like, oh, like this, like, I know it sounds crazy, and I'm sure that there's some science to disprove me, but I'm sure there's science to prove me right too. And I'm like, yo, like my eyes don't get as drained from lights, like what I'm saying, because of that
Yeah.
tint. So like my eyes weren't. So like that's something that I definitely caught on to. Just me personally is that I noticed that if I protect my eyes, I could stay awake longer, which I guess is. And then Whoop told me just to go to bed instead of trying to like finesse it. But
Yeah. And like that's the thing is Hayden's been analyzing my sleep patterns, and he's like, man, like this, it seems that this blue light, and like for many that don't know, blue light does affect your sleep. It
Yeah,
affects your eyes and gives you eye strain. And basically, when I get off, like every night at like 2 o'clock, I usually don't fall asleep till 5 or 6 in the morning. But if
yeah,
you have something like I just got some ordered, glasses, blue light glasses, Gunner Optics. So basically what it'll help do is like relieve my eyes and cause less eye strain so that when I'm trying to go to bed at like midnight, I can go to bed right at midnight. I don't
yeah.
have to stay up. And the blue
That's
light is
something else
hard.
too. That I usually tell people that I do myself is like I said, when I'm dealing with everything, most of the stuff I deal with, it's kind of like 24/7 because there's people in all different time zones. So it's like up to me when I put my phone away. Like otherwise, it'll just go forever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so before I go to bed, I try to get all screens away for 30 minutes before I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
So that's like something that I've done where I try not to even take my phone into my bedroom anymore. I'll charge it on the other side of the room because just staring at your phone, like right before you go to bed, number one, your eyes are getting the blue light. Number two, you're stimulating your brain with like, what I'm saying, with whatever you're doing, you're stimulating something in your brain. So you're making it harder for yourself to sleep. And you should associate like you want to associate your bedroom with sleeping. You don't want your body to be like, oh, we're in my room now. Let's go on my phone for 2 hours before I go to bed. And
Yeah.
honestly, that all comes down to self discipline. So
Yeah. And like that's that go and then again, like this goes back to gaming. Like if the blue light is affecting you, you're not going to get a good enough sleep. And in order to get that good high recovery score and good HRV, you need to get what's called like a decent amount of REM sleep. REM is one of the deepest phases of sleep. And in order to get that, like you won't get that if you are like in front of a monitor with blue light pouring onto your eyes nonstop. Like if you look at my Whoop data, my REM sleep out of like the past month has probably only been 1 hour, when normally it should be like an hour and a half to like three
yeah,
hours.
and that
Like
and
you
that
should
REM
be
sleep
getting
and deep
that.
sleep is where the recovery takes place.
Yeah, that's where your body
And
starts to rebuild
yeah,
and you're just like, okay, like I'm ready for this. And that's why going back again now, that's why you should not stay up till 5 a.m. grinding. Like if you the night before a tournament, I don't give a crap if it's a Contenders Cash Cup. I don't give a crap if it's FNCS or World Cup. No matter how excited you are, you need to go to bed for it because if you don't,
yeah,
you don't get that REM sleep, you don't get that deep sleep, you're not going to get that recovery, you're not going to get that good HRV. And then when you go and you start getting butterflies and you start getting stressed, your body can't deal with it. And then you start messing up, you start making mistakes, you start getting mad. So like this is why Whoop is really useful. And I'm forever grateful that Ryan connected me with Adidas and Adidas is now allowing me to do this for him. Like it's great. It's great being able to see this stuff and like I'm starting to fix my sleep patterns. I'm like, okay, like I have to do this to fix this and then I'll start becoming a way better player. And it's a very beneficial thing that I wished everyone could use, but it's also in testing phases right now.
yeah,
So
and
it's
that,
it's
like I
hard to
said,
say.
that's kind of our mission has been to like bring some light to that health side and using and having partners like them that are kind of helping us out with it is huge because like I said, I think this is something that everyone in gaming needs. Like anyone that is like I said, anyone that's like an internet entrepreneur spending hours in front of screens and living that kind of lifestyle, I think it's huge.
Yeah.
And like I said, and Whoop itself too, like the app it's amazing. The app is amazing.
Oh,
Um,
it
I love
is
the
like
app. Yeah, it's a great interface. The information is great. I've actually learned a lot and it's kind of segued me to learning a lot too because I was reading about all these stats and then I'm like, oh, I don't really know what this one means. I'm gonna go look it up, and then that took me down a whole other rabbit hole of learning all about all this. But now, it's given me a better understanding on kind of like just kind of putting numbers on these things because I've always had these theories too that obviously it's like known science. Like a lot of people know that your body reacts to the external stressors and internal,
yeah.
and your body's reaction, that's your that reaction, that's what releases those enzymes like cortisol or whatever, is your body reacting to how you feel. So if you can start to control that reaction, and if you can put your like I said, if you can put your mind in a better state, if you're only sleeping 4 to 6 hours a night for nights on end, I'll tell you firsthand, like you're gonna start to go a little crazy, honestly.
Oh
Like if you're
yeah.
not getting enough sleep, your body doesn't have enough time to recover, so you're operating suboptimal. So
Yeah.
it's like, something that wouldn't bother you, it might cause a huge fight. Say your duo partner like makes you mad one day, like say you got 8 hours of sleep, you're calm, you're rested, you got your sleep, you might be able to brush it off. Say you're like sleep deprived, you're angry, and this dude says something that's not a big deal, and you freak out, and then you just blew up the whole thing,
Yeah.
and now you're setting yourself back a week.
Yeah.
Like because you have to mend relationships and all that. So
Yeah. And
all that plays into it.
like the cool thing about Whoop as well is they basically, the activity strain is based off your cardiovascular levels, I
Yeah.
believe. So like these watches are way better than Apple. I've got an Apple Watch. I love my Apple Watch for the notification and all that aspect. But for a health aspect, I've tried Fitbit. I've tried Garmin. I've tried a Samsung watch. I've tried an Apple Watch. Whoop is the by far best. And the best part about it is if you look at mine and Ryan's data, it's not just going to spit Ryan the same data that Ryan has to me. So like my peak performance, so it'll tell me, it's like, okay, like if you want to peak in performance, you need 9 hours and 24 minutes of sleep. But for Ryan may only need 8 hours and 16 minutes. So like Whoop doesn't just throw it at you because it's from the internet and it's just going off and random stuff.
It seems like the algorithms and like it takes an average of like the whole day that you're wearing it. It all seems to be like, fairly accurate. And I definitely, like I said, I agree with like how my body feels and reference that to the numbers. Just like you say, you can spot that, you can see it. It's real. Like, I don't really feel that good today, and I look and I have a low recovery score. Like I wake up and I feel mad groggy or whatever. I'll check my Whoop app and it'll be like, nah, you're at 60% or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, knew it. I already knew it.
Like it's good. It's great that it does that.
Especially with like a lot more awareness being brought to like, just the mental health aspect of gaming and just the health aspect of what kind of effects it can have on the body. I think it's all great stuff. And it's definitely, I'm glad that we touched on it today during the podcast too. I think this is something we've been trying to get out for a while, but obviously COVID kind of cut it up. But I think we should definitely get back to doing more of these podcasts. I think we're bringing in like, a lot of valuable information on stuff that's going on behind the scenes that, it doesn't always show like in like, the next player episode or this or that, but, there is, a lot of work being done behind the scenes on this team that, me, Hunter, Trig, everybody else involved that we've all been kind of working on our own stuff behind the scenes. So definitely stay tuned because we're going to be popping off. You already know.
Oh yeah. Like we've got a lot in store, and
if you have any final words that you want to get out, Hunter.
Yeah, like I just wanted to wrap it up by saying, like, just for anyone who's starting out gaming, do your first year just regular online tournaments, then start getting into LANs. Like, trust me, it's a hell of a time. The people you meet, the connections you make, it's phenomenal. Like, I want everyone to experience this in their lifetime if they can. Like, the gaming world is a wonderful world. Yes, it can be toxic. Yes, it can be hard sometimes. But, like, you meet some of your best friends through it. Like, that's what I love about gaming. And if anyone does want any information about Whoop, you can just head on over to Google, type in Whoop wristband, and you guys can look into it. They do have memberships where you can get them. Just in case, like, any of you guys are gamers and you guys took some information from us today and you're like, hey, like, this sounds good. Like, I want this Whoop to help with my performance. Go get a Whoop. If you need to, message me or Ryan on Twitter.
Yeah, and hit us up too. I'm pretty sure we have like a section, like you can make teams, and then you can, like, everyone's data is in there together. So if anyone else that's friends with us, or you're interested, we can even add you into that group, and we can kind of keep everyone accountable. That's what, like, me, you, and Hayden, we have the WolfPack group where we're all in it together.
Yeah,
where I secretly check it, trying to beat you guys' HRV. It turns into like a game for me.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of do that too, to be honest. Like like it's good. So.
But no, I appreciate you hopping on and kind of talking about all the stuff that you guys have been doing. And I'm definitely pumped for this one to come out. I'm definitely going to blast it out on social media. And I think that this is definitely some great content for sure.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I would love to go more into it, but like there's some stuff that I just can't say and I don't want to say because it's stuff that they're working on, and it's great that they're working on it, and I'm so happy to be a part of it that I'm just like I can only disclose so much, and I just wanted to tell you guys.
Spill all your beans, bro.
Yeah. I want them to kick some ass and do some great shit. So that's why I'm not disclosing much. But if you guys get the chance, if you can go get Whoop, I'd advise it. I'd advise getting Whoop. You guys would love it. And other than that,
Yeah, I
that's all
definitely
I've
see
got.
them. Obviously, like I said, I might be a little biased, but I definitely see them coming up in the gaming industry for sure, and kind of, I think that they might find their way into it for sure. So I would definitely be on the lookout for them,
Oh yeah.
just in the upcoming too. I think that they're gonna make a push to really get into it.
Yep. So.
So yeah, no, I think that pretty much wraps up everything I had to say.
All right, guys, that is the ending of WolfPack's podcast number 2. We hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions or want to ask us anything or have any information for us, feel free to hit us up in the DMs on Twitter or Instagram. We're pretty active on them, so you know that. But other than that, we appreciate you guys sticking through with us, watching all of our videos, keeping up to date with all of us, and listening to this podcast. And we look forward to making podcast number 3, and hope you guys have a good day. Peace.
WolfPack on top, baby. Let's go.